Well, let's see if I check by 89 for Steve Arts 89. Well, there seem to be some issues with the Tomy 1350th die-cast metal model of the Enterprise that they were doing. They put out some sort of notification or email or letter or something, basically saying that they weren't able to realise some of the design detail that they were planning, and that the screw covers and the seams were more visible on the actual final models that they were expecting. Now, this is very disappointing. Now, I didn't order one myself. I was going to. I really, really was going to, because I have a 350th model that I haven't built. And the idea of having a die-cast metal one that's not only already finished with weathering and with lights and everything, but is die-cast metal, so it's got that sturdiness, that strength. Because as much as I love the models, a lot of the ones I built have been broken, and they're very fragile, and that's why I don't make them anymore, because I don't really have space to display them properly, and if I try and store them, I have to take them apart or they get broken. It's just, I've got a couple of boxes. That's what those are. A couple of those are full of models that have been taken apart or not built. Like a whole box of unbuilt models. But yeah, so I didn't buy it for that reason, and now we've got pictures. It looks like it's even worse than I thought. There's more seams than I thought. Like there are ones on the underside of the nacelle struts, and the one on the saucers is as noticeable as I thought, because I remember saying this at the time and someone saying, no, that's just a prototype, it's going to look better on the original, it's going to be more streamlined, you're not going to notice it. I'm like, oh damn, maybe I should have got it. And now I'm looking at it and it's worse. So, and look, I think it's just bad design. I'm sorry to say it. I don't know if they worked off the original molds from the Polar Lights model, or if it's from the same digital files or something. I don't know how they designed it. But if it's because you have to take it apart to change lights and batteries and stuff like that, it would be hard to hide seams. But it's just a matter of clever design. And this is not clever design. It's just sloppy. I'm sorry. I can't say it any nicer. I mean, if you have to have the saucer, you have to be able to remove the top. You make the edges come together like a point, so there is the seam is along the edge, so you don't see this like chunk of the model or the plastic or the metal or whatever, you know, sitting above the upper part, and there's this permanent line around the saucer, and then on the side there's like on the engineering section alone, there's like 4 on the front part of it. There's these 4 giant screw holes that are like wider than the nacelle struts, and they're huge, and they've got covers, but the covers, you know, they're obvious, you can see them, and it's just really bad. And like I said, there's more seams on the underside of the nacelle struts. I'm like, why couldn't they make it as one piece and put all the wiring through it? Why did they have to do it like that? And why couldn't they do the seams on the edges where you don't notice them as much? And why are they so thick? I mean, I think it's partly die-cast metal. It's just not as easy to get a fine fit, which is why I didn't want to buy it, because I've seen a couple of die-cast metal toys that I felt just looked really clunky and primitive. And as much as I wanted the strength of the die-cast metal, there was also that element. It had to be really clever to get around that. And the other issue was the weight, of course. Just mailing it to Australia is going to cost a fortune, and the extra weight, the size and the weight, I just sort of thought, no, it's just too expensive, I can't do it. You know, I can just make my own, you know. Although, at least when you get someone else's, if you don't like some of the design elements, you can't do anything about it. This is how it came, unless you're going to custom it. Whereas when you do your own, you can get really, really caught up on making it perfect, and yeah, sometimes it's easy to buy someone else's and you're not as critical of it as you are your own work. But the other issue is that the weathering. Someone has some pictures up, and there's a picture of the nacelle, and I mean the source section. Instead of the dirt or whatever that's built up on the ship, that's supposed to be sort of in streaks, it doesn't go across like it would as, you know, the ship's going through space and it's going over. They seem to be done in line with the sections as they go around, and it wouldn't do that. It wouldn't weather like that. And also the sort of weathering around the actual lines, the panel lines, also is kind of strong, and it just makes the centers of them look like sort of lighter dots. It's a bit too heavy. It just doesn't look good. And it's just really disappointing, because I was still thinking of maybe getting one later. It would cost me more, and of course I cost myself more money by procrastinating. But I was thinking about it, and now I'm looking at it, I'm like, no. I mean, if I was willing to accept the lines in the first place and get it like that, I probably would have just got it and saved all the money in that. So getting it now, I don't know. Now the light up shuttle bay and the bridge look really good. But it's the other detail that just doesn't look right. And yeah, there's not much you can do about it. And although the little dome on the end of the engineering section where the shuttle bay is, that looks like a really bright blue, and I didn't think it was quite that colour. I need to check on the original model, but yeah, very disappointing. They could have hid the screws with better design. They could have had, like, just where parts naturally come together, you have natural seams, you work with those, or you hide the screws inside something like the deflector dish. You could have them screw up from the front, and then you put that in to cover it, stuff like that. It's just, I think it's just bad design, partly because maybe the designs were done for plastic models, which are easier to work with or whatever, but yeah, just with the die cast, they needed to be very clever with hiding the seams, and they just weren't. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Thanks.